Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and today we have my next update because I stopped keeping count on my year-long project pan. So this is a rolling 10 pan style, so I have 10 items in, and my goal is to primarily finish these products. And so we have 2 rollouts this update, which is very exciting because that means I get to roll 2 more items in, but without a whole lot of rambling, because I don't really have a whole lot to ramble about. But let's go ahead and get into this video. I have my graphics, my weights, my spreadsheets, all of that jazz, all of my products. So let's get into my newest update for my 2025 rolling 10 pan. So I did not have a video that went up on the 1st, and I told you guys that I might miss some uploads just because my work schedule changed, my work hours changed, so I'm trying to readjust to my new normal, I guess. And so me filming a video and getting it up on the 1st was just not in the cards, but I know that you guys are giving me tons of grace, which I do appreciate. But let me go ahead and get all my stuff pulled up, and we will go through. Let's look at my 2 empties, and then I'll do my progress, and then we'll do my 2 roll-ins. Like I said, this project is my full year rolling 10 pan. I have the goal to finish all of these products. I track my weights, I track my uses, so that I can come back to you guys and say, hey, it took X amount of uses to use this product up to completion, and this is how much the empty packaging weighs. It has helped you guys out before, and I've even been able to watch other people's videos and like drop into their comments, and because they'd be like, Erin will probably know how much this empty packaging weighs, and I go back in my book and in my spreadsheets and I drop it in your comments and be like, you have like 3 more grams to use, keep going type of thing. So that does really help with knowing what the empty packaging weighs on these products. But I said I didn't have much to ramble about, and here I am rambling. So let me go ahead and get into my 2 rollouts. The first one should not be a surprise to anybody because that is my NARS Soft Matte Concealer. I had just like a little piece, and I'll have my graphics popping up and everything, but I had just a little piece of concealer left in this one, but it has been completely cleaned out, so this one is very, very done. I've already opened my new one and started using it. I do end up having it in the shade Light 2.5 Creme Brulee. This color is slightly deeper than my skin, mainly because I use this to cover my redness and cover my acne, and so I don't want to highlight that. I want that to actually sink back. So that is why I got a shade that is just slightly deeper than my skin tone. So this is complete. So in the month of April, I did end up using it 5 more times to empty it out. I used 0.25 grams to again empty it. But for my total tracked, I ended up getting a total of 249 uses out of this concealer. So almost 250 uses, off by 1. So 249 for this. I am very happy about that. I do end up buying these during the 21 Days of Beauty. So I bought this one for $16. So a $16 potted concealer, 250 uses. I am very much okay with the bang for my buck on that one. So that is our first rollout. And then our second rollout, this one I anticipated being done, and I am calling this as done as I can, but that is my mini Tier foundation. This is the Mask Fit Red Cushion. I have it in 17C porcelain. There's only 4.5 grams of product, and it's a cushion foundation, so there's only so much you can do. I got to the point where I was flipping the cushion every single time I was using it, and I even added even more product into this. So I told you guys last time that I had actually added product into the cushion. So I had taken my Say Super Glowy Gel, my Misha BB Cream, and then my Fenty Ease Drop. So at the beginning of April also, I put even more product back into the cushion and I used it as much as I could. So that is my cushion on the inside. It's a little bit dark right there because I did put some of my e.l.f. Tan Halo Glow in there just to deepen this up a little bit because the Fenty Eavesdrop is a little bit light for me, which I don't mind because that gives me an excuse to use my e.l.f. Halo Glow and Tan. But like I said, I flip this cushion every single time I'm using it, so I'm done. Like, I'm not getting product off of my sponge, so I am okay with calling this one an empty as well. Now, last month we were at 34.68. Now we're at 33.28, and I could probably like put the sponge into a Ziploc bag and like rolling pin it and get everything out and then cut open the Ziploc bag, but we're done. We're done. We're moving on. Because I didn't like the original Tier foundation anyway. I only liked it when I was adding my other products to it, which told me that I liked my other products more than I enjoyed this. I just really liked the delivery system of having it in a cushion. So I did get a total of 38 uses out of this cushion foundation altogether, but this is not going to be scientifically accurate because I was adding so much product into the cushion. So take all of those measurements with a grain of salt. Now we can go up to my progress items. So these, I would say the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 7 have been in since the beginning of the year. Otherwise, we have had 4 empties so far this year. Let's look at the blush. So lots of different or lots of use, like visual use on this one. Oh, it just started raining. So maybe we'll have some pitter patters in the background. But this is my Ofra Chick Lit blush. I have repressed this plenty of times. I mix the colors together. But look at all of the progress we're getting on that. Definitely this is getting very thin. All of this over here is kind of new pan. So even though I'm not using this as much as I want to, I am getting great progress. I almost kind of feel like 2 more months and this will be an empty blush. And if I can empty 1 powder blush per year, that'll make me feel so good. Even though I have 20 blushes in my collection, emptying a powder blush is a huge accomplishment. So very, very happy about the uses on this one. But last month we were at 36.18. Now we're at 36.01. I used it 5 times. So I use 36.18, 36.01, used it 5 times, 0.17 grams. My graphic will be up here with the numbers. Apparently my brain is not working. Actually, let me move this over so I'm not even looking at February's numbers because that's what's throwing me off. But 0.17 grams of use on my blush in 5 uses, which is actually the same amount of product that I used last month in 6 uses. So at least it's consistent, but we are moving right along with this blush, and so hopefully this one will be an empty in a couple of months. Now, my next product, which is my Tarte highlighting palette, this one will look a little bit different because I repressed shade number 2. You guys would have seen that in my project 10 uses because I did have shade number 2 rolled into that project, but I did repress shade 2 into the center of the pan here, and I'm already getting some nice wear on the top of that one. But we also had growth in this pan here, and I think growth in this pan here. So we are working really well with this palette. Now my goal for this one is to get as much of shade 2 done as I can, and then when I just have a tiny bit left of it, I will mix shade 2 in with my Becca highlighter in Moonstone. I will repress it into here and then continue to use this highlighting palette. So I love all of these shades so much. My favorite shades are these two right here because they have the most use on them, but I love this entire palette. So last month we were at 116.37. Now we're at 116.08. That means I used 0.29. So I used about the same amount between March and April, and then I always do have graphics popping up with the amount of uses I've had for the entire year on each pan and the amount of uses for April on each pan. Because if I reach into 2 of those pans in one makeup application, that does count on a use each on the pans. Hopefully that makes sense. So I did my makeup 20 times in April altogether, so I had 20 makeup applications, but I might have like 22 marks on my palette if I reached into 2 shades twice, if that makes sense. It has to make sense to me because that's how I'm tracking, but hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Here is another one that will look different and is because I did a little bit of a repressing party with myself, and that is my Juvia's Place bronzer. So I have it in this Makeup Geek Compact, and you guys can already see that I have repressed it into the center. But this is in the more warm tone shade in the light duo. I already used up the cool tone one last year, but I repressed it into the center, and we already have a little speck of pan in there, and I will say that as soon as I repressed it, it is going a lot quicker because it's a little bit looser pressed in there. So we are moving right along. I would say another, again, 2 months on the bronzer, but that would even put us at, it took me 6 months to use up the cool tone one. If it takes me another 2 months on this bronzer, that means it will take me a year to use up the warm toned one. Riddle me this and riddle me that, but I have no idea why this one is taking twice as long. Maybe formula, maybe repressing, you know, whatever the variables are that are leading up to this one taking twice as long, but we are still making really steady progress on this one. So we were at 42.62 last month. Now we're at 41.78. Used it 20 times for 0.84. So here's the biggest difference with repressing. So last month in March, I used my makeup 19 times and it was only 0.38. So I used double the amount of product in only one more use, and that has everything to do with repressing. So that is where I will start to see this go a lot quicker because it has been repressed. So if you guys see, if you're tracking along with me, if you see my numbers do a big jump, I'm not eating my makeup. It is just, that's what happens when you repress makeup. Oh, Miss Inara's coming in. All right, so next we have my ColourPop Lippie Pencil, and this is in Brink, and I was able to make a new line in my book, but here is where we're at. And I like to show you the little dark mark there because that is where my pencil will be empty. I do wear this pencil pretty much every time I do my makeup, so we can assume I weared it. I swear that I write and I know how to read. It's just a lot of times I don't know how to speak. But I wore this, let's assume, 20 times in April. So we were at 5.9 last month. Now we're at 5.6. So that's 0.30 grams. And I think the main difference, because again, that's double from what it was the month prior. I think the big difference is that I sharpened this a few times. So that equates to more weight coming off of it. So a product that I cannot make a new line on, and that's probably because I didn't use it the entire month, even though there was a little bit of weight change, so I might have used it. What is wrong with me talking? I'm getting my tenses mixed up apparently today, but I did use this probably once, and that is my Pat McGrath lipstick in Fembot. I really do love this color, and I love the formula, and actually I'm wearing more of a cool tone look today. So I can probably put it on the center of my lips and apply it right now, but I just am not reaching for regular lipsticks right now. I am preferring my colored balms and kind of like lip gloss formulas. I'm just not a lipstick person anymore, which is weird because I used to love my lipsticks. But for the Pat McGrath lipstick in Fembot, we were at 34.36. Now we're at 34.35, 0.01. It took me 4 takes to do that because my mouth did not want to say 30. All right, so not a whole lot of use on that lipstick, but it's okay. We will work on it. We will continue to work on it. Now, we do have some good progress on this one, and that is my Say Super Glowy Gel in Star Glow. And I'm going to start seeing this get used up a whole lot more, a whole lot quicker going forward. And that's mainly because when I was putting it into the cushion, I would only do about 5 pumps with the other stuff into the cushion, versus now that I'm going to be mixing my foundations on my foundation palette, I'm going to be doing like 1 pump per day. So we will start to see this go a lot quicker in the upcoming months, and I'm totally okay with that because this is a beautiful product. So last month on the Say Super Glowy Gel, we were at 146.45. I did use this 20 times because it was in the cushion foundation and I used it 20 times, but that was not 20 pumps. So again, scientifically, I'm kind of throwing myself off a little bit, but I used it 20 times. Now we're at 145.33, so I used 1.12 grams of this product. It is beautiful. I would definitely repurchase it once it's gone, but I am curious how long it's going to be lasting me once I'm using 1 pump per application again. Another really great progress item is going to be my Kosas Cloud Set Powder in Candy. Yep, that is what it is called, and mainly because I am just working away at the dome on this product. Wow, that is really bright. I guess that shows you how brightening like pink powders are. Like, I'm trying to see if it throws off my white balance, but we are having really good progress on this one. We can see, let's see how much I am wearing down that dome, and so really good progress. My lid has not fallen off yet, but I know it eventually is coming. But we were at 75.66 last month. We're at 75 even now. Used it 20 times, so 0.66 grams of product, which is about on par with what a 20 use month would produce on that product. And then my last progress item before we do my roll-ins is my shadow stick from ColourPop. This is in So Celestial, and I used it I used it quite a bit. I love using this as like an outer corner, kind of darkening my lash line and maybe winging it out, but it kind of looks like shadow, but it's really like concentrated where I want it. So I use this quite a bit, but I didn't sharpen it because I think that's what ends up taking the most of the weight off is when I sharpen it. So I was not able to make a new line on this, even though I used it quite a bit. But last month we were at 11.58. Now we're at 11.56, so 0.02 grams of use on this. But I love this. We're going to continue using it. You'll see in my graphics, but like I have so much freaking product in here. This is not going to be an empty, especially if I'm just using it in that concentrated area, but I'm totally cool with seeing how much use I can get overall with that shadow stick by the end of the year. And that brings us to my 2 roll-ins. So we had a concealer and a foundation rollout, so I'm rolling in a concealer and a foundation. My foundation that I want to focus on next, because I almost consider, so my Misha BB cream is technically in my foundation category, but I use it as a mixer for everything. And so technically I could count it as a mixer, even though I'm not going to move it at this point. It's fine in my foundation category, but I'm not ever, like I'm tracking my uses and I'm tracking the weights on it, but I'm not necessarily like completely honed in on like panning it because I know it'll get used up because I'm using it every day. But with this foundation, I am very curious on how long it'll take me to use this up. And this is my next newest foundation, but this is the Urban Decay Face Bond. So I picked this up during the 21 Days of Beauty, so I did get this half off. I have it in shade 2, which is Fair Neutral, and it is a tiny bit light for me, but I have it on today, so this is my first day trying this. So I did mix this with a pump of the Say, a pump of my Misha, and a dot or two of my e.l.f. Halo Glow and Tan. And that kind of got me my perfect shade for right now. I do feel like it's a very good shade for right now. But I'm curious how this wears. Now, I put on my makeup. It is almost 5 o'clock when I'm filming this, so I'm not going to get a full day of wear, but when I wear this on probably Tuesday when I go back to work for a full day, then I'll have my full day wear test. But again, I can't review this for you guys yet because this is the first time I put it on my face, and that was probably about an hour ago. But where we're starting with this is 46.8 grams. So brand new. This is what we're starting with, so we will see how long it takes me to use up the Face Bond. Then the concealer that I'm going to roll in is my next, I guess, newest liquid concealer, because I do have my Natasha Denona one, but I'm going to have to take the stopper out on that one. That one is almost done. So I did pick up, you guys will see this in my buys and buys, but I did pick up the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. So this is the Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer. Now, I did use this quite a bit in April, so I do have my thoughts on this one. But as far as us starting off for tracking for this project, we're starting with 46.38. But I do have about 13 tracked uses just in April on this. So my kind of snapshot review on this, and I do have this in 1C, is the shade. So this is a brightening concealer for me. I don't know if I like this under my eyes because it's very matte. And so I'm an oily skin type. I'm 40 years old. I live in a hot and humid climate in Florida. And this is even a little bit too dry for my under eyes. And I started doing this a couple months ago, but I actually, the only under eye, eye cream that I'm using right now is Aquaphor. So in the morning, before I put on any of my other daytime skincare, I am putting a dab of Aquaphor underneath my eyes. That's the only eye cream that I'm using right now, and we'll see how it works. But this is very dry. I feel like you cannot dot this all over your face and then take your time to blend in because it'll dry down as it's sitting on your face. So typically with this one, I have to do my forehead and my nose first and blend those in. And then I have to do my chin and my cheeks, and then I have to blend those in. So this, the coverage is beautiful. It dries down matte, so great for my oily areas, but I don't think that this will be my favorite for my under eyes. I think it'll just make things look a little bit too dry, even with me prepping my under eyes with Aquaphor. But as I go along and as I track that product, I will be able to give more reviews along the way. But that is my first kind of impression with having used it for the first couple weeks. But like I said, we're starting with the 46.38 on that, which is kind of funny that this and this weigh the same amount. So I guess the packaging on this one is more substantial, which it is. It's some good, durable, thick plastic packaging, but I also feel like there's more concealer in here than normal, but it also has a humongous doe foot on it. So they have to make room for that huge doe foot in this product as well. But these are our two new roll-ins. We are tracking them from the very beginning. So when they are empties, I will be able to tell you guys how many uses total it took me on those two products. But that is my update for my rolling 10 pan project pan. I feel really good about these things. I feel super excited about these two being empties and being able to start working on my Hourglass Mood Exposure. And then also, I think when I'm done with this one, I want to roll in, I don't know if I want to roll in my Too Faced bronzer or my NARS Laguna. I think it'll depend on like what shade I am whenever I roll them in, because I almost feel like the Laguna will be good during the summer, and then I might have to like trade it out for the Too Faced one when we get into the winter, just because I will get a little bit of sun, I will get a tiny bit darker in the summertime, and then I will lose all of that and become translucent again in the wintertime. But I'm very excited about some cheek products leaving my collection. But otherwise, I'll keep using my makeup. I'll keep tracking for you guys. And I know that I posted on my community tab for you guys to leave me some questions. I think my video that I'll put up on the 10th, I think that video I want to do my chatty get ready with me. And I had a few questions about panning. I had a few questions about just how I'm doing, which thank you so much for asking. And then I had some questions about my writing that popped up in some questions or in some comments. So if you guys have any other questions for me to touch on in that get ready with me, either drop them in this comment section or go to my community tab and answer that question in my post there. That way I don't lose your question in the way that my brain is foggy and losing everything. So, but I do appreciate you guys so much. But now I'm going to encourage you to do all the things. I'm going to encourage you to hit a thumbs up on this video. Let me know that you guys are enjoying my content. I'm going to encourage you, if you are new or lurking, subscribe. Hit that button down there. It's free for you, but it does help me out a lot. I do project panning, conscious consumerism, beauty budgets. I do eyeshadow. I do chatty get ready with me's with psychobabble kind of sprinkled in, because I am a therapist by education and by experience. So I kind of bring that into how I discuss my mindset about makeup, money, and life. And also, my puppy dogs get sprinkled in from time to time. So they're actually all sleeping right now, which I'm going to leave them like that because they knocked over my lights earlier. So we're going to keep them calm for a little while. So subscribe if that seems interesting, or if my personality seems interesting to you. A lot of people say that I have a relaxing voice. I think my voice is so cringy, but you guys seem to like it. So again, stick around for just some background babble if that also makes you feel good. But make sure to drop me a comment down below with either your question for my chatty get ready with me, or just tell me how you guys are doing. Did you guys have any empties? Did you guys have any new exciting purchases? Let me know how you're doing down below. I love our conversations. I love sitting on my deck and replying to you guys. So please let me know how you guys are doing. But otherwise, I'm going to take my pictures. I got to edit this because I'm filming this the day before this is supposed to go live. Again, my work schedule has completely thrown off my availability to film, and I thank you guys so much for giving me grace. But I'm going to go ahead and go so I can do all that stuff, but I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. I hope that you all have a beautiful day, and I'm going to catch you in my next one.